I was on my explore page and this video of this big girl popped up doing the Chris Brown challenge. Yeah, right. So I commented on the video. I know the lyrics didn't say, "You fat as hell, I treat you well, come in." Oh no. You know what I mean? I was being funny. Like, I just seen a nigga with no arms doing this shit. I mean, he was, so that whole time she on a weight loss journey. You know what I mean? She had already lost like, hella pounds, and she still is like working to lose, hella more. So, and reposted a video of her working out, and I'm like, oh shit. I apologized to her. She wasn't trying to hear that shit. I totally get it. And I definitely was not just out here like, shorty fat as a bitch, or not like, you big as shit, you big ass. You know what I mean? I wasn't, and that was not my intention, for real. My bad, baby girl.
Thanks for that hustle. Big shout out to SPI, Spotter Low. I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned, all that.
If you were privileged to be up on the Steve Harvey and Katt Williams drama when it first kicked off, then you can recall it was some very entertaining drama. For those of you who may not be familiar with it, I'm going to try to give you a little backstory recap. From what I can remember some years ago, maybe 10 years, maybe even a little more, there was a situation where Steve Harvey was on Jamie Foxx Foxhole satellite radio television show, and he brought up Katt Williams, and somehow the whole studio got to clowning Katt Williams, man, and Steve Harvey was being very dismissive and flippity, uppity, arrogant, like he didn't really know who Katt Williams was and kind of clowning him. And then Jamie Foxx was dying laughing like it was the funniest thing he had ever heard. Everybody in the studio was. Off top, it just looked like Steve Harvey, he was the man. Then Katt Williams called at a later date. And at this time, I used to be on the highway a lot. And I used to listen to satellite radio, so I heard this quite a few times. Then Katt Williams called in, and he was talking his shit, and his was comedy off from the jump. Even when he called in, the voice he was talking in got you thinking, man, this nigga got to be high out his mind. But he was saying he was saying like, somehow they invited me to come to do this show in Detroit because Steve Harvey went on somewhere and said it's the battle to declare the king of comedy or something. He said, I don't know why he called it that. And he started clowning and said what he was going to do to Steve Harvey when he got to the arena. And he said, when I get there, I'm going to serve you basically, da-da-da-da-da. He said, the only reason they added me to the show was because you couldn't sell out all the tickets, da-da-da. So, bam, the show came. Steve Harvey came out on the stage, told some jokes, whatever. He was Steve Harvey. He told one joker, he was like, man, yeah, don't let no girl lick you on your nipple, something. He said, that's the best feeling in the world. He said, that make me do the most trickstiviest thing I ever did. I bought a girl a car, she licked me on my nipple, something like that, right? So, mind you, Katt Williams is scheduled to take the stage right after Steve Harvey as the headliner. So Steve Harvey leave, Katt Williams come out. When he come out, the crowd goes stupid. He already, the way he just doing his thing, he got the crowd going. I think he playing some DMX. I could be wrong. Then first thing he got up there and said, I don't know why a nigga up there and talked about all that bullshit for an hour and a half. He should have talked about me like I'm finna talk about his bitch. And he said, man, if that wasn't the most he the one said the trick to this shit the most. He said, if that wasn't the most trickiest shit I ever heard in the history of trickstivity, buy a bitch a car because she lick your nipple. He said, if bitch suck my dick with the spirit of the Holy Ghost in her mouth, I ain't gonna buy her a happy with something like that. Woo. Then he went on to roast the shit out of Steve Harvey. So now when they popped up on the Shannon Sharp thing, I kind of knew the history of why it was like going, how it was going. It didn't just start right there. And we pulling up on Porty Flacco. He covered it from a whole nother perspective. His angle was really, his title was Shannon Sharpe is a snake. I guess he felt like Shannon Sharpe is playing both sides between these two. Me, I'm just here for the update from what I just shared with y'all. So with no further ado, let's see what Steve and Katt have been up to.
It looks like Steve Harvey still hasn't forgiven Shannon Sharpe for giving Katt Williams a platform to diss him. So Steve Harvey was on the Pivot podcast earlier this week, and on the podcast, he called Shannon Sharpe disloyal and clickbaity in so many words. So Steve Harvey is still upset that the Katt Williams and Club Shay Shay interview did about 90 million views and counting. It's the most watched interview in YouTube history. And Katt Williams in that interview, for a large chunk of it, is calling Steve Harvey disloyal, calling Steve Harvey a snake, making accusations that Steve Harvey snaked a couple of his friends. Is not a good look for Steve Harvey at all. And Steve Harvey knows he could do 1 million interviews up until his death, correcting whatever Katt Williams said on that interview. But the interview just did so many views that it don't matter like how many interviews Steve Harvey do, it would never reach the audience that Katt Williams reached when Katt Williams was going off on him. So here's what Steve Harvey had to say on the Pivot podcast about Shannon Sharpe.
Y'all got a podcast and you're doing it brilliantly. Please don't stop doing the way you do. See, the problem with people is they get something that work and then they want to find something that work better. You ain't got to fix it if it ain't broke. See, I'm on radio for real. I have a real radio show. I have the #1 adult contemporary show, 25 to 54 in America. The Steve Harvey Morning Show. I'm at 112 markets. I got 9 million listeners. I'm controlled by FCC rules. The problem is, these people go get these podcasts who have no FCC rules to abide by. But you have to remember, even though you're on a podcast, you still got a brand.
Yeah.
And so you can't say what you want to say and expect to be relevant and not get canceled. You can't have a podcast.
There ain't one person that has actually been canceled for saying something on a podcast. I will wait.
And the way that you think you can make money is on clicks and views at the expense of others and not expect to have to pay the expense. You can't have a podcast.
Damn, like he cooking, man. Shit, he ain't saying nothing.
And light me up and don't expect to get lit up. You can't have a podcast, let somebody come on your show and talk about your friends.
So obviously that's a reference to Shannon Sharpe. Now he makes it more obvious later on by just outright saying Shannon Sharpe's name, but he's referring to what Katt Williams said about him on Shannon Sharpe's podcast. If you guys forgot, well, let me remind you what Katt Williams had to say about Steve Harvey on Club Shay Shay.
The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had. Now Steve got a sitcom where he the principal and he wear a suit and then he gets this high top fade, making all black men think he got the best lineup in the business, and it's a man unit.
What made this Katt Williams interview so potent for a lot of Katt Williams enemies is because whatever Katt Williams said, you could do a quick Google search and figure out he wasn't lying. Because when Katt Williams said this about Steve Harvey, all people had to do was just pull up what Mark Curry said about Steve Harvey not so long before.
So what's up with you and Steve, man?
Ain't nothing with me. Well, Steve stole my material on his show, so I had a beef on that.
On what show?
When he was on the bullshit talk show he had, and he did all my Halloween material one Halloween. I'm watching, somebody called me and said, man, homeboy doing your material. So he did my whole Halloween run. And I know he didn't think of it. You know, this is true stuff that really happened to me. And so my thing is, you didn't have to do that, homeboy. Right. So, you know, you made enough money. You know, wow. You made enough money. You did enough. You know what? Why are you on my material? Right. You know, what's that about?
Then when you look at the two sitcoms where Katt Williams is claiming that Steve copied Mark Curry, I mean, it's similar aesthetics. So this is why, like, Katt Williams in this interview did a lot of views and it was potent. was because it appeared that Katt Williams was telling the truth about a lot of things. Katt didn't just stop at Mark Curry. Katt would also attack how Steve Harvey did other people wrong, and he would also say, Steve Harvey wants to be a movie star. He could never really pan out to be a movie star, which is why he's jealous of other people who became movie stars. And he always tried to downplay it as if he didn't want to be a movie star.
Then you asked it, why you not a movie star? I didn't want to be a movie star. This the same Negro that hated on Bernie with this same thing. I didn't want to be a movie star. No, you couldn't be a movie star. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asks for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good, baby, and look like Mr. Potato Head. There ain't none. You would have to have range. I played a lot of characters, 60 movie roles. I'm not playing Katt Williams in there.
I don't know, Katt. We might not let you drink anymore the way I mean, we ain't even got...
I'm not fueled by alcohol. I've had a sip.
Look, Shannon gets spooked when that truth get to coming out. He ain't the only one. It's a lot of people like that. Facts.
Less than you. This is like Steve Harvey telling people he used to be homeless. That's my story. That's not his story. Steve Harvey wasn't never homeless. When Mark Curry was touring with him 25 years ago, he was making $3,000 a show in cash and doing 5 shows a week. They just tell the stories. Thanks to my wife, I'm where I am. You said that about the first wife. You forget that? You told us it was her. Then you went and married somebody else that think like a man. Like, what are you talking about? They think they can rewrite history. Guy Torrey did a beautiful special about the Comedy Store and Fat Tuesday.
Shout out to my guy Torrey. Salute. That's my guy.
Where he said that Steve and Cedric and Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish came through there and made... All lies. Steve and Cedric never performed at the Comedy Store at all. Tiffany was only seen at the Laugh Factory in...
I got to, because it's on my mind. I remember one time I was at the Johnson family vacation. Krupp was in that movie. So the day he went to shoot his scene, I was with him. And I got a little brother, Derek. Shout out, Derek. I love you, boy. Derek, he lived a challenged life. He's not mobile, but, he has cerebral palsy, some other challenging issues. So as I was moving around the industry, I kind of made it like a Make-A-Wish campaign for my brother as well. Every time I pushed up on somebody I knew he was fond of, he had this extensive collection of VHS tapes of not only black movies, but black sitcoms, every show. He knew every name. He knew every song. You came to ask him anything about any black cinema that came out since 1987. He was born in 87, so since he was old enough to watch and pay attention, anything black that has ever hit the screen, he can tell you all about it from the start to the finish. So with that being said, music-wise, too, he used to love Ashanti. Yeah, that used to be his woman. He better not say nothing about her. Then, so every time I pushed up on a celebrity, especially when I was real up and coming, instead of me pushing up on somebody saying, hey, look, man, I'm a rapper, I want you to hear me, woo, 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 I will always say, hey, man, I got a brother at home, he handicapped, he love you to death, man, it made no world to him if you would spend a couple seconds on the phone. And everybody bit from David Banner, Exhibit. I had forgot when I bumped into Exhibit, I had treated him real foul the last time I bumped into him years ago. It's years later, I ain't thinking about that. I'm up here at the Universal City Walk with my brother at the Video Game Awards. We mobbing. See Exhibit, I push up on him with the, hey, this my little brother thing. It wasn't till days later I thought about, damn. And Exhibit cooperated, he did it. Shaquille O'Neal did it. But then Cedric the Entertainer did it. That's why I came to this story. I was at the movie set, and it's a funny story because I asked Ced, and not only did he do it, he walked far away from where I handed him my phone to like a quiet area. He was over there pacing back and forth for a long time on the phone with my little brother, so I'm appreciated. Bow Wow did it. Bow Wow was there that day as well. And so when he came back over to hand me my phone, and Ced at that time, and still is, he's one of my favorite comedians. And he came over smiling so big, laughing. And you know, my daddy think he a comedian. And he said, man, your daddy crazy, motherfucker. Man, I said, what happened? He said, man, I was on the phone talking to your brother. We chopping it up. He said, all of a sudden, somebody pick up the other phone, say, damn, Bow Wow called for him. Said call for him. Why nobody on there want to talk to me? And we had a good laugh off that. But shout out Seth Entertainer, Bow Wow, Exhibit, Shaquille O'Neal, David Banner. My brother, appreciate it. Shaq for having us in this, Big Shug for having us in the skybox at the Staples Center, watching Shaq and Kobe. Yeah, little bro done had a time. Oh, my mama. That night at the Video Game Awards, he met Snoop Dogg. He been around 50 in them. He met Exhibit that night. Who else he met? Right now, I bet you he'll tell me, you forgot so-and-so, bro. But yeah, all right, back to the story.
15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show. They pay you to not talk about things they don't want you to talk about.
Steve will address Katt Williams in a way, but it would feel like the majority of his issues is with Shannon Sharpe. Now, his logic is, listen, if you have a guest on, and the guest is talking about your friends. Now, I don't know how close Shannon Sharpe and Steve Harvey was. I do know that Steve Harvey did do Shannon Sharpe's podcast before Katt Williams. Steve Harvey was one of like Shannon Sharpe's bigger interview. I think at that particular time, Steve Harvey was the biggest interview on Shannon Sharpe Club Shay Shay before Katt Williams came on. But nonetheless, though, right? Steve Harvey believes that Shannon Sharpe owed him the respect of shutting down a conversation when his name came up. Which, if you're gonna give Steve Harvey like that respect, then you kind of have to give that respect to other comedians, because they will ask, hold on, Shannon, you shut the conversation down when Steve Harvey came up, but you didn't shut it down with my name, and now you have more problems on like your hands. So if that's the case, you then, you damn near shouldn't do the interview then, right? Because then Kevin Hart could ask you, hold on, Shannon, like, why you shut it down with Steve, but you let him, go off on me?
You can't have a podcast, let somebody come on your show and talk about your friends.
I agree.
Okay, you got a podcast. Y'all got a guest on here. And he starts slamming Fred. He knows something about Fred, happened in the past, will lie or not, and just starts slamming Fred. Y'all got to shut that down.
Yeah.
Because this your brother. You got to protect him.
He got a point, but is Shannon Sharpe and Steve that close? That's the question.
And you got to protect the brand. They don't do that no more. So you come on my show, you spread all these lies about some people that I call my so-called friends, and I just let you sit there and check it. And because your podcast had so many views on that right there, your next guest is the same type of guest. Because now you want your money to be made off clicks and views at somebody's expense. Well, now guess what? You got to pay for that. Because once you put it out in the universe that I want clicks and views, the universe does not differentiate. It just give you clicks and views. So now, here they come the rest of them. And now you got clicks and views.
Mm-hmm. My question to that, though, is there was the podcast, and there was a comedian who talked about you. And you waited a while before ever responding to Katt Williams. Mm-hmm. But when you responded, it felt like there was a lot more vitriol to your response than it was all of the initial accusations. Why do you think the response to what you said was so different from what he said on Shannon's show?
When you say vitriol, what you mean?
The social media fodder was upset.
Let me tell my people something, bro. I don't care where you at, how big the platform. Somebody having a conversation with you and they use a word you don't know, you don't understand. Stop them asking what it means so you can stay on track. I got to give him props for that.
With you for the way you finally responded to him. Mm-hmm. You mentioned his height and what you could do if there was ever an altercation. They said they felt like what he said about you was true because of the nature of your reaction.
Oh, well, see, first of all, I ain't really good at social media, so I didn't even know that was out there. But they can, like, really kiss most of the corners of my ass. when you say stuff like that. First of all, man, let me say this.
I don't know the relationship between Shannon Sharpe and Steve Harvey. So I would need to know the relationship before I could tell you if Shannon
Sharpe's assessment, young man. I just said the same thing. Quit repeating me.
Sharpe owes Steve Harvey some type of respect or a shutdown. What I would say though, there are industry friends and there are real life friends, right? If an industry friend, let's say we're cordial, right? He do YouTube, I do YouTube. You know, like we talk probably once in a year.
That's what it came down to, damn near. It used to be a little more frequent, but Flacco stopped responding. Checks done got too big. A whole no hundred told him he can't talk to me. I don't know what it is. Shout out for the Flacco though.
That's an industry friend. Now, do I owe that industry friend to shut down every conversation that pops up about them? I don't. What I do owe them though is the respect for me not to talk trash about them. I
gotta say this. When I was his co-host, there was times he was elsewhere making content. My name came up and he called and gave me a heads up and I told him to cut it out. He cut it out. There was other times he FaceTimed me while he was making content and I already know who he was around. I was shocked the way it went, and I told him exit out, and he exited out. So he did respect that. He didn't just go, and it could have went semi-viral for him, but he respected my request.
Do owe them though is the respect to give them a heads up. Hey man, this dude was on my podcast. He said this about you. It's coming out. I owe you that respect.
I had another experience with Count Capone one time. We didn't speak for quite some time because he was upset with me because me and him, you know, I was one of his very first guests. And I don't know, maybe I thought we had got cooler than we had, but we was at least cool enough for one time he reached out to me. He's like, hey, look, I just interviewed so-and-so and they said so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. To me, it was like, you only telling me this the way Flacco be telling me was to give me action to shut it down. But when I was telling him that, he didn't quite see it that way. He was just trying to give me a heads up. But I persisted. He shut it down. And then we kind of like didn't see eye to eye for a while, but we got back cordial. I've been back to his platform since then and all that. But it's all based on the same like elements he describing.
But do I owe you whenever a guest open up their mouth to talk about you? Nah, hey, bro, nah, chill, bro. You can't talk. No, hell no, no, hell no, bro. No, I don't owe you that. Now, if you're my real life friend, if you're somebody who I grew up with, I hang out with every day, your op is damn near my op. So if you come on, you know, like you could say your 1-2, you feel me, like say your piece, but when you start getting into trying to disparage, trying to tear down, trying to murder my friend's character.
Oh yeah, that's what happened. Ho No 100 is your friend now. Y'all be together all the time. So I'm your op. I get it, Flacco. You ain't my op though. I'll be your op.
I gotta shut that down. And that's just out of loyalty and respect, you know? Now, Steve Harvey came on a Pivot podcast, like on some like Kumbaya, Mamet Gandhi type stuff, right? But when he was on the Earn Your Leisure, as he just referenced, Steve Harvey was on violent time. Steve Harvey was talking about, man, I'm gonna knock you out when I see you.
Ass hater and you'll never have a hater that's doing better than you. Always know that. Don't get off the wall.
That's the most dumbest stuff you could ever say. You'll never have a hater doing better than you. I heard so many people say that. Like, people just hear stuff and run with it. You know how many people hate from looking down? People will just see you smiling with way less than them and hate on your joy, hate on the way other people react to you because they got all of the material things, but you got all the favor. That's the dumbest statement. Now, anybody who repeats it, I'll be looking at them like, man, you're not too bright.
To dress some pity any ass boy who ain't got shit going for himself. Now you done stopped your climb up on the wall so you can come down here and talk to his little punk ass. Don't do that, man. I stay away from it. Now, do I want to? Yes. Because I'm a human being and I'm hood. I used to be a fighter and I still got hands. They slow, but if you get up on me real close, I can still knock your monkey ass out. I just don't have the quickness I have. But still know how to turn my hip and shift that weight, and I'll knock your short ass out.
What a young dude know about turning that hip, though. He knows something. That old man talk. My daddy told me. I remember one time I had somebody had smashed my car. It was parked. When I go out there, it's a white man, and he acting all out of it and woo wah. And I go. I'm like, I practice Jeter, exhale. He f***ed up though. He done totaled the car out. He barely coming to. He trying to explain himself. He slurring. He can't barely talk. I go get like a blanket or a jacket. I'm finna go take it to him because it's like 2 a.m. When I walk up on him, he gonna ask me, "Hey, you got some coke? I need a line." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "All right." I took my jacket, the blanket back in the house. Like, man, fuck you. You can stay out here. Cold. So I had went in the house and told my son, that we went out there, we seen the accident. Now he calling, he like, "Please don't report this. Don't report this to your insurance. I got a friend, my lawyer. He'll come right now." He said, "I'll get your car fixed back to how it was, and I'll give you an extra $5,000. As soon as he said extra $5,000, I'm like, all right, we ain't gonna call no insurance, none of that. I'm like, but call your lawyer right now. He called his lawyer on the speaker. He like, I'm in Compton, woo. The lawyer on the phone, like, Compton. He way like in Culver City somewhere. He like, so, all right, he's like, it's gonna take me. He said, that's my car he's in. He was in the lawyer car. He said, he's in my car, so it's gonna take me some time just to get a ride and then to travel from Culver City, so just give me some time. So he probably got there like 3 a.m. So all that time, dude stayed out there sitting in his car and didn't call no 911, no nothing. So me and my son, we walking back and forth. My son get burnt out. He go back in his room. He about 14. He 19 now. So I'm out there at one point. Now, when the white boy, the lawyer pull up, he pull up with another white boy, his ride, because he had to get a ride. So I swear to God, we standing there, they kind of talking, trying to get the details. I'm like, nah, man, I need you to write him to write what he gonna do. He said he gonna pay for everything. I had the homegirl from PJ's with me. I think her daughter was there too. It was Sassy. I think Coco was there too. I ain't sure, but it was Sassy and 2 other females. It was Sassy, Coco, and they had another female. So we standing there, we just talking, woo. And now the fool at the accident, he got a whole nother attitude now that his people's there. He talking all like, trying to use big words, like he talking over our head because we black from the ghetto and we don't understand this lawyer talk. So I'm standing there and he just happened to be standing right here to my left shoulder. And we like in a circle. The other 2 white boys, the homegirls is like off to like in the cut. So we chopping it up, woo, talking, woo. I'm like, yeah. And he just said a couple things. I done kind of barked at him. He didn't bark back. I'm like, huh? So next thing I know, I forget what he said. He said something. I just smacked him. Knocked him, boom, bam. But then he hit his head on the concrete. He out. So, whatever. The rest of that story is another day. I said all that to say this. My son, mind you, he's 14. So when I come back in the house, I'm mad. He like, what happened? I said, I just knocked him out. He like, damn, why you doing? I wasn't out there. He run out like I said, no, it's a rap, ain't nothing to do. He like, I swear to God, this young man, but now mind you, I made sure he took some boxing classes when he was young. But it was a while ago from this point. That's a whole nother story, how proud I was when he got to the point where he was able to earn to spar. I'll tell you, I remember I used to drop him off every day at boxing. He probably was like 11, 12. Every day I pick him up, he'd get in the car, he'd just be sweaty, go home. Then maybe after 6 months, 4 months, I don't recall how long it was, he got in the car and he was pumped up. I'm like, what's up? I just qualified for sparring. I'm like, that's what's up, man. You going 6 months to this program, you can finally spar. I'm like, what you got to do to qualify? He was like, it's this row of bars and you got to climb all the way across on the row of bars and all the way back. I'm like, is that right? He like, yeah. I said, when you first got there, how far could you make it? He said, shit, I'll make like 2 bars and drop. I said, you lying. I said, but you know what that told me? I said, nigga, you been walking through my house. I've been seeing muscles pop out everywhere, shoulder, neck, back. I said, that's where all the motherfucking muscles came from, nigga. You done got strong. So anyway, all that to say, I'll tell you, I knocked the fool out. This nigga asked me, ain't no, I've been in the streets all my life, jail, school fights. Ain't no nigga never asked me no shit like this. I tell him I knocked him out. He said, hold on, how was you standing? How was you positioned? So he stood next to me like the white boy was. He said, how you swing? I swung. That nigga said, oh yeah, you hit him with a full pivot. You got him with a good one. I said, what the Yeah, the story just triggered the thought. Back to the story.
I shoot your perm straight out your head.
The stuff with Mark Curry, that's verifiable. You could kind of go on the internet and see that Katt Williams is telling the truth. But the other stuff with Bernie Mac and other people that he included Steve Harvey, or claiming that Steve Harvey lied about being homeless, I don't know. Only Steve Harvey would know if he was homeless or not. But if Steve Harvey is saying that Katt Williams was bastardizing his story and Katt Williams disseminated falsehoods and lies about him to 90 plus million people, if I was him, I'd probably want to tussle or shoot the fair one over that too. I'd probably want to rock a couple of jaws if that's me, okay? Now, I'm not 68 years old, so I don't know, all right, what my mindset would be at that particular age. Bro, at 68, I could give a damn what anybody has to say about me, bro. Bro, I'm trying to live and die at that point, bro. But me right now, nah, bro, like I got to see you. So at that point, he was mad. Now it looks like Steve Harvey is kind of off that. And he would try to lowboy Katt Williams moving forward, but he would also say that he's open to a resolution and you know, he's open to talking to Katt Williams and squashing it.
And I probably, see, first of all, when I said that, I was on stage at Earn Your Leisure. Mm-hmm. I was really just joking. I slap your perm, all this. I was really just in front of a whole lot of people. I was really just joking. I don't really, if I had a chance to talk to Katt about anything, I would just ask him what's wrong. Just what's wrong. Let's go to that. Listen to me, man. Just because a person sits on the show and don't hesitate or say or and speaks eloquently, that don't mean it's true. That just don't mean it's true, man. And I probably shouldn't have said anything. That's a regret I have. I really shouldn't have said nothing. Cause we not in the same league, dog. We shooting at two different baskets. I shouldn't even have said nothing. And so really, man, I think I would apologize.
But you saying that and still taking shots. This is a disingenuous apology. Katt Williams is not no dummy. He not finna accept that. He gonna have some more slick shit to say back to you. You know that.
Apologize to him. If he took offense to what I said, I was joking, but I would apologize to him. And like I said, if I had a chance to sit down with him, I would just say, hey man, what's wrong? But you gotta look at the whole tone of the interview. If the whole tone of the interview is what everybody else ain't, what everybody else ain't got, what everybody else doing, I think that's kind of like hate and jealousy.
You could call it that, or you can observe that he was at a specific platform and he was responding to guests that had been on that platform, and many of those guests had mentioned him. You could color it either way, Steve, but an unintelligent audience that's not aware of all the facts will hear what you're saying, just be like, yeah. But like you said, just because somebody nod and say, don't mean it's true.
And hate and jealousy is a form of grief. You're grieving because obviously all them people you talking about have something you either want or are something that you ain't. And you're grieving, and the funeral becomes the podcast. So now let me roast.
That's bullshit.
All of these people.
Maybe it's my algorithm and what I watch, but I wouldn't say that Katt Williams and Steve Harvey are not in the same category. Like, I wouldn't think that Katt Williams is like way beneath Steve Harvey for Steve Harvey to say that, right? Like, I don't feel like that's the case, right? Like, I feel like when it comes to Katt Williams and Steve Harvey, in terms of the culture, Katt Williams and Steve Harvey are on the same level.
Yes, but if you actually go through the deals, the companies that Steve Harvey has had major deals, like, you know, Family Feud and some of those. He probably is on a different bracket, but like you say, to our culture, to us, we prefer and favor Katt over Steve, regardless of that.
Maybe Steve Harvey feels like, yo, I transcend black culture. I'm on Family Feud. I'm in a whole different ball game than Katt Williams, so I don't need to respond. I'm cool, man. But at least he's willing, you know, to squash it with Katt Williams. But that's my thing, though. How are you willing to squash it with Katt Williams, but you still got a problem with Shannon Sharpe, you know? Do y'all feel like Shannon Sharpe did something wrong? Do y'all feel like Shannon Sharpe owed Steve Harvey loyalty? Let me know in the comment section, okay? And if you're still watching, click on this video here somewhere on my
Colors on deuces or the Benz on Forgiatos. 24s to be exact, ain't worry about no potholes. Bulletproof the windows and add some tints on it. A stash spot for the 40, they ain't gon' find nothing. In the lanes with my load, sipping Moet. Don't need the GPS, I got it, cuz go left. Don't take opinions from no nigga that ain't no help. We stack the handguns and put the old ones on the shelf. I had to learn to play the cards how they dealt. My bitch did a nigga wrong and she left. I ain't complaining about that shit, I was like, well, I get a new bitch. Now she calling asking me who I'm with. I'm on some new shit, everything brand new. She asked me why you got me blocked, I'm like, I had to. Call me out my name saying you sad, bitch, you sad too. And always acting like you perfect, who the fuck is you? The suede Puma's all blue, she love a nigga swag. In a box of Louis V, I'm in a different bag. We ain't the same, we different ways, so I'm in a different class. And when I get mad, I let her squabble up like Trinidad, all facts. I'm the truth, you niggas cap. Tell the police everything, but they gon' lie in y'all raps. We on that bullshit, we don't give a fuck. In traffic with it on my lap, it ain't tough. This game will never be the same, it's no trust. Give a fuck about your Drake, we got them too. They not like us, don't do too much, cause we'll pop out and show niggas. It might be a truth, but we ain't clicking up with no niggas, nah. Hotel suites, we on the top floor with it, y'all. And stand 10 toes down, they be hoping I fall. But I'm a ball, like Kobe in the last game. Mafia live from the max down to the mains. Trey 5 Siete. Rearrange a nigga frames. Never start shit we can't finish. We play no games. I'm from the Double M gang. They know the business. The crippin' running my veins. I'm born with it. Yeah, that nigga. Free baby psych, nigga. Free bad news, nigga. Free tiny dub. Yeah, that. We in this motherfucker, nigga. The mafia crib. Yeah. Spicy blue, little friends. What's happening?
Yeah, neighborhood that bustin'. Giving a shout out right now to SPR, Spider Low, y'all already know what it is. Slauson there.
Bitch been out all night cheating, called me, told me, do I want something from the Waffle House. I'ma eat a bologna sandwich in the county jail, ho, get here.
It's neighborhood that bustin'. Big shout out to SPR, Spider Low. You know I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned, all that.